tragedy to the set of the Steven Spielberg movie, The Twilight Zone. Actor Vic Morrow and two small children were killed when the chopper came down as they were shooting a war scene. Rick DeReyes reports it happened early this morning.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony. Today I am wearing my Rolex Submariner, specifically for this video. And in case you're wondering what's coming up next in my next video, it's going to be a pretty gnarly video. It's going to be really freaking cool. And I'll bet you're wondering what Hollywood has to do with my next video as far as the little clip that you just saw. So stay tuned for that, and let's get going. Let's roll the intro. We're going to be talking about my top favorite Rolex watches. All right, let's roll the intro. Alrighty, so let's get right into it. So I'm gonna do a video also on like my top 10 watches that I want, things like that, I guess. But let's just start with my top 5 Rolex picks. So number 5, I would go with the Day-Date Presidential in platinum with the ice blue dial. I love that watch. It's a watch I put on here because essentially it's more of a grail watch. It's not one that I know if I would necessarily ever be able to obtain, but I do love the watch. It just reminds me of when I first got into Rolex. The Day-Date was, I guess it was the one, you know. It was like, you know, I'd see people wear it and I go, man, wow, I want to get one of those. One day I'll get one of those. You know, I'd see a singer of a band that I used to love when I was a kid wearing a Day-Date, and I thought, man, that was the ultimate goal, was to get a Rolex, and not just a Rolex, but a Day-Date. It's 40 millimeters. Again, it's a platinum case and bracelet, presidential bracelet. I love that watch. Maybe one day I will get one, but who knows. So number 2, the Gmt Master Ii Batgirl. I really like that watch. I love, you know, I guess it's probably, one is I do love the color of the bezel. You know, it's a 40 millimeter case. I do love the Jubilee bracelet as opposed to the Oyster bracelet. It's just a nice watch. I'd probably have that higher up on my list if I was still traveling, because obviously you get a couple time zones out of it. It's got a 24-hour rotating bezel. That would be perfect if I was touring and traveling again like I used to back in the day. But since I'm not, it's kind of lower on my list, but it's still an amazing watch. Love that watch. So the next one, number 3, is just the Oyster Perpetual. You know, that's just such a classic 3-hand watch. It's clean. It's got a clean dial. You just, you know, 41 millimeter Oyster bracelet. Just reliable. You know, all these watches are COSC certified, and they have the superlative chronometer, which means after they're certified, COSC certified, then the movement is placed in the watch. Most watch companies that have COSC certification are tested on the movement, and that's it. But Rolex, what they do is they put the movement back in the watch, then they do additional testing as the movement is in the watch, and therefore that's where you get the superlative chronometer. So yeah, just the regular Oyster Perpetual. So then my next pick would be the Submariner Datejust Submariner, 41 millimeter. Just the standard classic dive watch. This is just iconic. It's the most copied dive watch on the market. And I love this watch. You know, I'm not getting into all specs and all that stuff because most of you guys already know that. And this is not a watch review. This is just my favorite top 5 Rolexes. So, let's see, this is number 2. Number 1 is the Rolex Datejust. Rolex Datejust was, to me, again, just like the Day-Date, just so iconic. You know, the presidential or the day date, you know, it started in, it was first came out in 1956. It was the first watch that was a chronometer that was also waterproof. Um, but anyway, so the Datejust is the closest thing to me to the day date. I love the variations, the dial choices. You can go with an Oyster bracelet or a Jubilee bracelet. I've had both. I've had them on an Oyster and I've had them on the Jubilee. I do like them on the Jubilee, and again, the dial variations of the watch is you know, again, you can have a few of those and you know, you'd be fine with it. You know, some watches you only just need one. You know what I mean? A Submariner, you know, you just need one really, but you could get a couple. Sure, why not? But with the Datejust, again, that's just iconic. I like the Cyclops magnifier as well. Some people don't like that. I like that on the Datejust and the day date. Again, with the Submariner, I don't like it as much. I just like that real clean dial. But again, it's whatever your choice is and what your opinion is on what you like and what you don't like. So having said that, it's a real short video. And like, subscribe if you want. And what are your top 5 Rolex? Again, this is about Rolex. There was a guy who's a Grand Seiko guy who was commenting on my last video. All he was trying to do is like put Grand Seiko. Every comment I was like, dude, I get it. You have a hard on for Grand Seiko, dude. Fair enough, but that's not what the video was about. So keep in mind, this video is not about Grand Seiko. It's about just my top 5 Rolex watches. So having said that, peace out.